Good morning, everybody, and you are extremely welcome to the 14th Autism-Europe Congress here in Dublin. And it's my pleasure to welcome you today and to also host this morning's opening ceremony. My name is Adam Harris, and I am the founder and CEO of As I Am. Before we begin today's proceedings, I am delighted to welcome a number of special guests who are going to join me here on the stage. Before I do so, I'll remind you that as this is an autism-friendly event, we're working really hard to make sure that every aspect of the event is as accessible and inclusive as possible. That includes how we're going to welcome people today. So as opposed to our traditional applause, we're going to do our flapause to welcome people. So without further ado, I'm delighted to welcome the Minister for Children, Disability and Equality, Norma Foley TD, who's going to join me on the stage, and also Minister Hildegard Naughton TD, the Minister of State for Disability. So I'll invite both ministers to join me, and also to welcome Harold Nearland, the President of Autism Europe, and Patrick Murphy, the CEO of Codex, our platinum sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, you're all extremely welcome to Dublin for this really exciting event, and as we say here in Ireland, Céad Míle Fáilte, 100,000 welcomes. It means so much to us in As I Am to have the honour of hosting this event and to be the first autistic-led organisation to have such an honour. Over the course of the next number of days, if there's anything we can do to support your visit or to make it as inclusive and accessible as possible, please do let us know and we will be delighted to do so. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get underway. People will be aware that we have a Congress app that is available in both the Android and iOS app stores under AEC 2025. All the details of the app are in the joining instructions that you'll have already received from the conference organizer, but we really do encourage you to download and use the app because that will be what ensures that you have a very accessible and smooth time with us over the next number of days. As you know, we're also translating the conference into an unprecedented number of languages using the Worldly app, and that enables you to access live translation in the language of your choice, both by audio through your headphones and also on text on screen. So that app and all of the details are also in your joining instructions. Just a little bit of health and safety as well. In the very unlikely event of an emergency, we just encourage people to please take note of their nearest fire exits, which are marked clearly throughout the venue. The fire assembly point is at Shelburne Hall, is located just outside the main entrance of Hall 1. Our staff and our volunteers are here to help, and in the event of an emergency, please follow any instructions that they give you. Over the course of the next 3 days, we'd encourage people to visit our exhibitors. This event is only possible because of the incredible support that we've received from our sponsors and exhibitors. So please do take the time to say hello to them and to explore the various products that they have on offer. Don't forget to check out the app as well for networking opportunities. For everything that you will learn on stage over the next number of days, you will learn even more in the conversations that you have in the exchanges with other delegates from right across the world. And I know that over the course of the 3 days, there's nearly 2,000 people joining us from over 60 countries. So it's a huge opportunity to network, and we really do encourage you to do so. If at any stage over the next number of days you have any questions, please do go to the registration desk. Please do approach one of our volunteers in the very Irish green t-shirts, and we'll be delighted to help you. But without any further ado, it is my delight to have the opportunity to introduce Minister Foley. We're so delighted to have a great partner for this conference in the Department of Children, Disability and Equality, and I'm delighted to invite Minister Foley to address us and to open today's Congress.
Steve Glair is an orvor sa marara vehan so no called tochtach so. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a very great privilege for me as Minister for Disabilities, along with Minister of State in my department, Minister Hildegard Naughton, to join you all here this morning. It is indeed a singular honour to be invited to open this very important event. And I extend a very warm and heartfelt welcome to all of you, delegates, advocates and self-advocates, researchers, professionals, parents, family members, supporters and allies, all who have travelled from near and far to be here. We are delighted, and may I say we are very proud, that Dublin is this year's host city, and we hope that your time here will be intellectually stimulating, but also memorable, meaningful, and thoroughly enjoyable. May I take a moment at the outset to sincerely thank the organisers of this year's Congress, as I am, Autism Europe, and all the partner organisations for their dedication, their hard work, and their vision in bringing this extraordinary gathering to life. In particular, I would, from my heart, like to congratulate and commend Adam Harris and his entire team, everyone really in As I Am, for their relentless commitment to inclusion and for being a driving force, an important driving force in transforming autism understanding and support across Ireland. It is truly no small feat to organise a Congress of this scale, with thousands of delegates like yourselves representing dozens of countries across multiple languages, disciplines, and lived experiences. Yet, the energy, accessibility, and ambition you have brought to this endeavour are already evident. So thank you all. It is a joy to have you here and indeed to be in your presence. I'm very, very conscious that the Autism-Europe Congress is not just a conference. It is a movement. It is an event where science meets society, where policy meets personal story, and where aspiration meets action. At a time when many in our world face division, misunderstanding, or exclusion, this Congress reminds us that progress is possible when we listen, when we learn, and when we lead with empathy. I am really conscious also that this Congress is more than an academic or professional gathering. It is a collective act of advocacy. It is a declaration that autistic people must be heard, must be included, and must be empowered to thrive in every single aspect of life. This year's Congress is built around the powerful theme of quality of life, research, policy, and practice. Having the best quality of life possible is what we all wish for ourselves and for those we care about. The factors which influence it are broad: health, education, employment, housing, recreation, identity, community and belonging, safety and security, and many, many, many more aspects. All of these are reflected in a very comprehensive programme of engaging speakers and presentations throughout the next 3 days. As policymakers, we are always conscious that the decisions we make will affect the lives of our citizens in one way or another, be it big or small. This is a tremendous responsibility, and that being the case, it is imperative that research and evidence are at the core of the decisions we make and how we implement them. We now live in an era in which our ability to access and share information has never ever been greater. Everyone in this room will be able to attend to the benefits of this, for advocacy, for learning, and for building new forms of community. However, we do know that the potential for misinformation and disinformation has also increased, and along with it, the potential for incorrect assumptions and prejudice to grow. And we know too that many autistic people still experience isolation in education, in employment, in healthcare, and in everyday life. It is our responsibility to be determined in our pursuit of research and evidence and to work collectively to resist unhelpful and often damaging myths, misconceptions, and stereotypes. We must break down barriers, both physical and attitudinal, to the acceptance of autism and autistic people in our communities. We must provide the timely services and supports that people need. We must recognise communication in all its forms, and we must ensure that no one is left behind, because everyone, no matter how they communicate or engage with the world, has a right to belong. This government is absolutely committed to this important work. Inclusion is not a service, it is a shared responsibility. Across Ireland, we are making important strides, from efforts to make our towns, cities and public spaces more accessible for autistic people, to increased representation in public life, to new legislative and policy commitments, including our Autism Innovation Strategy. We are striving to ensure autistic people are not just supported, but are actively shaping the communities in which they live. But I do know and I do understand that we still have a long way to go. This Congress is a powerful, powerful opportunity to learn from each other, to share best practice, and to challenge ourselves to create communities that are not merely accommodating, but affirming. Change, I know, is not always easy, but it is essential. Autistic people and their families have long been at the forefront of change, fighting for recognition, for services, for dignity. But change must now come from every level of society, from policymakers, from educators, from health professionals, from employers, from all of us. Ireland is at a pivotal point. With new national strategies, increasing public awareness, and a growing community of autistic advocates, we have the tools to create lasting change. What we need now is the collective will, and events like this Congress help to galvanise that will. One of the most remarkable evolutions in the autism community is the growing centrality of autistic voices. Autistic self-advocates are leading some of the most innovative, compassionate and informed efforts in policy, research and practice. This is not just welcome, it is absolutely vital. The conversations, research and relationships formed here in Dublin over the next few days will ripple outward. They will shape practice, they will influence policy, and most importantly, they will help to change lives. Let us use this time not just to speak, but importantly, to listen. Not just to present, but to connect. And not just to plan, but to act. I wish you well with your work over the coming 3 days. Gur míle maith agaibh go léir. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Minister, and we so appreciate you taking the time to be with us this morning on what I know is a very busy morning for you as you also go to another important summit, so we really do appreciate your time. The Minister spoke so well about how this is an event in which science meets society, and I think really that is at the heart of what we are trying to achieve over the coming three days. This event takes place at a time in which Ireland is really excited to have a new national autism strategy, and in which we're proud to be working with Dublin City Council, another supporter of this event, to make Dublin an autism-friendly capital city. And as we progress the Congress over the coming number of days, we're working to leave a legacy in a number of key areas of Irish life. We're hoping that we can demonstrate accessibility at scale in every aspect of this event and bottle those learnings so that others can apply it into the future. We're going to be working with our employment partners on this event as we seek to use the momentum around the Congress to address the scourge of autism unemployment. And as you're out and about in Dublin over the coming days, you may see our billboard campaign as we're working to address autism misinformation, and critically have issued an open invite to a large online course tomorrow afternoon for members of the public to have the skills and knowledge to separate fact from fiction. So today and the days ahead are really important as knowledge sharing opportunities, but we also hope that they will leave a lasting legacy and impact on Irish society. And again, I think it's a sign of the commitment and support of the department that we're lucky enough this morning not just to be joined by one minister, but by two ministers. And I'm now delighted to introduce Minister Hildegard Naughton.
Good morning, everybody. It is my honour and privilege as Minister with responsibility for disability to join Minister Foley in welcoming you all here to Dublin for the 14th Autism-Europe Congress. And I'm so proud that our capital city is hosting what is a landmark event, and very grateful that so many of you have travelled from all over the world to be with us here today for this really important gathering. Because what we want to do here is to share your experience, your expertise, and your time over the coming 3 days. I would also like to echo my thanks to all of the organisers of this Congress, Adam Harris and the As I Am team, and all of those who are involved in making this event happen. Your efforts, together with the collaboration of so many of you here today, are helping to build a fairer, more inclusive and more accessible society. The discussions that are going to take place over the coming days will spark innovation, they'll inspire future dialogue and build momentum for change. Ireland, like many other countries, is on a journey to addressing the challenges faced by autistic people in our society. In 2024, we became one of a handful of nations to publish a dedicated whole-of-government strategy aimed at improving mainstream services and supports for people with autism. The development of this autism innovation strategy placed the voices of the autistic community, their families, and their supporters at its centre, with 2 large public consultations being conducted. The message, or the messages from these consultations, was very clear. Like all of us, autistic people have a huge amount to offer, but they face challenges due to a lack of awareness and understanding on a broad societal level. Challenges which often prevent them from participating fully in their communities on an equal basis with others. The consultations also showed us that there are clear areas of improvements that can be made, including in the provision of public services. Consultation participants identified gaps in health services and supports, access to education and employment, access to alternative communications methods, data and research, and a lack of understanding reflected in the approaches of some professionals. The Autism Innovation Strategy seeks to address these fundamental issues in a holistic way, setting out 83 actions to be achieved across government which can make a difference to the lives of people with autism. We will run a determined campaign to increase understanding of autism in our society. We will fund research to identify and begin to plug the gaps in our knowledge of autism. We will develop a neuroaffirmative approach to training for our public sector professionals. We will improve accessibility of health and social care services. We'll support inclusive and accessible learning environments for autistic children and young people at all levels of education. We'll take steps to ensure that our local communities are welcoming and facilitate participation by autistic people, and we'll work to enhance knowledge of and access to assistive technology. We are now a year into the implementation of that strategy. And as the Minister of State with responsibility for leading this work, I'm pleased to report that progress is being made across all thematic areas. And I'm determined to ensure that those most centrally affected by this work will feel those real and tangible results. Our vision is of a more inclusive society, where people are understood and have equity of opportunity to participate in cultural, social, and economic life and lead meaningful and fulfilled lives as valued members of our community. And so Ireland's hosting of this event here could not be more timely. I'm joined by at this event by many of our officials in the department and also from departments right across government. We are here to listen, we're here to learn, to gain the benefit of the wealth of experience and the expertise in this room. Today, senior officials from the Department of Children, Disability and Equality will lead a lunchtime session on delivering public services which respond to shifting demographics in the autistic community. And I would encourage you all to attend that session to question and to share your valuable insights. We will also host 2 roundtable discussions over the course of today. The first will be an opportunity to discuss how meaningful and impactful public autism information and understanding campaigns can be created, how they should also be co-designed with autistic people. The second will be a follow-on discussion from our lunchtime session and will explore how mainstream public services can respond to the needs of the growing autistic community. We will also discuss how to ensure that autistic people are involved again in the design of services and supports, recognising that public services cannot be effective unless they reflect the realities of those they aim to serve. A major and welcome shift in recent years, both here and across Europe, has been the growing recognition of autistic self-advocacy. The Congress reflects that shift. The diversity of speakers here at this Congress, the accessibility of the programme, and the centrality of lived experience show us what inclusion looks like in practice. As Minister with special responsibility for disability, I'm committed to ensuring that autistic voices continue to shape our national approach, not just as stakeholders, but as leaders. There is still much work to be done to respond to the needs of autistic people in Ireland, and to ensuring that they receive the services and the supports that they need, both mainstream and specialist. But government is absolutely committed to this task. We live in times of real change, but change brings opportunities. We can reimagine how we support one another. We can challenge structures that exclude. We can build a society that truly reflects the richness of the diversity in human experience. That work begins with listening. It grows through collaboration, and it flourishes when we are bold enough to act. So I would like to wish you all a wonderful few days here in Dublin, and may the ideas that you share here lay the groundwork for greater inclusion, better outcomes, and stronger communities across Europe and beyond. Thank you so much for your commitment, for being here today and being part of this movement of change. Gura míle maith. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister. And just to pick up on the point the Minister made, there's a huge opportunity for us over the coming days to exchange learning across countries, because while people come from over 60 countries here today, so many of the challenges we face are shared. And we would really encourage people to come to that lunchtime session if you can make it today. It's been a real pleasure to cooperate with the department in co-designing the session and the conversation that we're going to have. I want to acknowledge the arrival of the first citizen of Dublin, the Lord Mayor of Dublin, Councillor Ray McAdam, who we'll be hearing from in just a little while.